Hello, this is Carlos Baradello. I'm delighted to have been invited to the Endeavor Global Entrepreneur Summit, version 2013. And I would like to discuss in the next 30 minutes or so the top 10 reasons and the top 10 requirements for foreign entrepreneurs to come to the Bay Area, to Silicon Valley. And the question is, why come to Silicon Valley? If you are an innovator, if you are an entrepreneur, why to come here? Not much different that people went to Florence during the Italian Renaissance. Innovators and entrepreneurs from all over the world want to come to Silicon Valley, not much differently from when an actor wants to go to Hollywood, or an athlete wants to go to the World Olympics. So why to come to Silicon Valley? Because you want to come and learn from the best, compete with the best, and also to be valued with the best. However, to come here, you will have to be prepared. You will have to be trained. You will have to be able to compete and hold your ground. And therefore, we're going to spend the next 25 minutes discussing the top requirements, the top 10 requirements for foreign entrepreneurs who want to come here. So number one is to be prepared for the unknown. And what does it mean to be prepared to the unknown? It's obviously to have the characteristic, the personality that enable you to be pragmatic and confident and to be prepared for entirely new situations. You have to be willing to defy or those that say why you want to leave your ecosystem, your hometown, why you want to take the chances of leaving this behind. But at the same time, if you do take the chance, you take the opportunity to come here, you definitely have to use the month prior to your arrival to really become prepared to hit the road running when you arrive here. First of all, you can leave the Valley, you can leave the Bay Area experience virtually. You can connect with people here, connect with some people from your own ecosystem, your hometown, who have been here to try to learn how this works. In addition, your knowledge of English is known. I mean, we all know that we have to know English reasonably well, but more important to know the business lingo, to be able to communicate with the idiomatic expression that the innovator, the venture capitalist use all the time here. In addition, you have to organize your startup, your venture, so you can manage it remotely. Because you're going to spend here a number of months while your startup continue operation in your home locality. At the same time, you have to be mentally prepared and to tackle an entirely new culture, an entirely new language, and you have to have this global mindset and willing to go through the pain and through the challenges of scaling globally your venture. Finally, funding. Because you're going to spend here a number of months in an area which is probably one of the most expensive areas in the United States. And therefore, towards that goal, you're going to require to have, I would say, somewhere between $4,000 and $5,000 a month minimum to cover your expenses, so you can now work from here and work in globally scaling your venture while you're still managing part-time your venture in your home country. The second key requirement for foreign entrepreneurs is the ability to adapt very quickly. And this becomes very important because you will be dealing with rejection. Rejection that people who are going to not necessarily agree with your innovation, not necessarily agree with your business model, not necessarily with your value proposition, and you will have to prove them wrong. You will have to listen to their challenge. If you venture into unknown territory, you will have to react very quickly. And the bottom line is that you will have to be energized by adversity. And that adversity has to demonstrate your perseverance and your smart persistence, that you will be able to incorporate the feedback, you will be able to prove and adapt your business model as it is required. The characteristics that will be imposed on you for you to be successful here is to be a fast learner and faced by adversity, quick to react, adaptable, flexible, and a smart persistent. And the smart is key, because you have to be sure that you may be wrong. So you have to push the envelope of what you think is your value proposition, your technology is right, but at the same time incorporating what the learnings and the lessons learned by others, that they have been participating in this ecosystem. The third characteristic is to be yourself. Don't try to impersonate somebody who you are not. You are adding to the diversity of the place. You bring something unique to this ecosystem. So you will have to, every day, face Silicon Valley. You will have to pitch your venture, pitch to the different audience, and to be able to play win-win in a hyper-fast-paced environment. As you come here, you are going to be required to compete with the best and hold your ground. This is not to be arrogant, but just confident and knowledgeable about what you are doing and the potential of your venture when you compare with others. People is going to expect not just for you to master the ins and outs of your business, but they are going to expect that you master the ins and outs of your industry globally. And this may be far more requirements imposed on you than what you already experience in your own ecosystem. You will have to master your pitch. Your pitch is your currency, is your ticket. Is your ticket to present in front of all the stakeholders that you have interest. Investors, customers, distributors, technology partners, potential employees, etc. And at the same time, have your one-pager prepared. The one-pager is the written version of your pitch, and it's more important than your business card, because it's what you leave behind as you introduce yourself to many people. Let's recognize and pause for a second or someone who came here not from a foreign country, but it came from the Midwest. It was someone who was part of the initial group that came to Shockley Laboratories. It was part of the traitorous 8 that left a Shockley Laboratory to form Fairchild Semiconductors, and 11 years later left Fairchild to form Intel and become the CEO of Intel. Robert Noyce. He brought here his own Midwestern values to Silicon Valley. He continued pushing the egalitarian culture of Hewlett-Packard and brought it even further as he introduced the idea that the stock options will permeate most, if not all, the employees in the firm, and also a man who is recognized by his uncompromising integrity and his commitment in the development of Intel as the leader, the powerhouse in the area of semiconductor and integrated circuits. As we go to the fourth point, is the openness that brings rewards. When we look at this requirement, you have to, oftentimes, in many parts of the world, entrepreneurs are afraid to share the innovation. They are afraid because they are going to be copied, and the immediate reaction is the need of a non-disclosure agreement. Well, here nobody signed non-disclosure agreements. So it will become up to you how far into the disclosures you want to get as you give your pitch to different stakeholders. Because no one here is going to sign a non-disclosure agreement. The best insurance policy is your speed. Is to be brilliant and your ability to move very quickly. And you have to be confident that you can execute. Because in many ways, the Silicon Valley is paid with great ideas. So it's not, the real value is not really in the great ideas, but it's in your ability to execute and to connect this wonderful innovation into the commercialization success and the ability to capture the economic values of those ideas. For those characteristics the required characteristic to be successful here is, together with this mindset of openness, the ability to work 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year. Because often in our home requirements, the work ethics is different. Especially people who come from Europe are used to work weeks which are 35, 40 hours a week and 4-6 week vacations a year. But here it's really different. The high energy is contagious, and there is a constant optimism that things will work out for the better. And if it is not in this venture, we'll bounce back into the next venture. There is also a constant balance between thinking and doing it. Because, as I said before, the real reward is in the execution and the commercial success of the venture. The other important element is that here, connecting, networking is an important piece of our daily activity. And from that networking activity, sometimes it benefits us, and sometimes we benefit others. So for that, it's very important that we are connectors as well as other people helping us to connect, and always seeking win-win outcomes. So it's not sufficient to sit at one side of the table, but often make the exercise. If you are on the other opposite side of the table, what would be your experience? It will be a win-win outcome, or is a situation that is completely unbalanced. Let's take a case in terms of openness and in terms of innovators. And let's recognize Marc Andreessen. In this case, Marc was recognized by society, by a cover of Time magazine, which is an element, a way to measure recognition, given how many times Time magazine have put in their cover. And in many ways, Marc, with the introduction of the first web browser into Netscape, Netscape really represents in 1995, the event of Netscape going public, represent a turning point to the current generation of Silicon Valley. And in fact, that event, it had a fantastic follow-up by all the companies, all the internet-based companies, and the transformation of many companies that were here before, embracing this new technology. It has led to an incredible success, not necessarily for Netscape, but for all the companies that follow, including Amazon, including Google, and many others. But at the same time, the same openness is characterized by Mozilla, which is, as a non-profit, have been able to capture 25% of the browser market with Firefox as one of the very successful browsers today available in the industry. The next point is partner, partner, partner. What is meant by this is that you and your startup will not be able to make it alone. And therefore, you need to recognize what's core to your startup and what you are going to do, and what explicit recognition of all the areas that you will not be able to do. And for that, you will have to leverage from partners, leverage from different stakeholders, so making sure that you create a successful ecosystem for your company and your partners, so they can all be sharing the success. For that, You have to recognize what's core to your business, who could be your key partners, be able to develop win-win relationship with all your stakeholders. You have to be very well versed in doing stakeholder analysis, and at the same time be humble and accept all the help that you can get, because this is very important. As a sixth characteristic is to have a global grand vision. Often you are recognized as a leader in your own ecosystem, and you do have a vision. However, when you come here, that vision is going to be challenged in terms to have a global grand vision, and for that is a key requirement to be globally minded. In many ways, it will be required for you a number of key characteristics. You need to know what you're doing, know the ins and outs of your company. You need to acknowledge the things that you don't know, but you will have to learn it very quickly. You will have to be plugged into a global network of information to making sure that you understand what's happening to your competitors, what's happening to your stakeholders, but also the different sources of information around the world, the different websites, blogs that you are going to check daily. When you think of a global mindset, an obvious company that it was able to have a global grand vision is Google. Because if we look at the mission statement of Google, say our mission is to organize the world's information and make it universally accessible and useful. This is an example of global mindset, of global vision, grand vision, that in this case Larry Page and Sergey Brin had when they launched themselves in the creation of Google. Another point of interest is that about 50% of the startups created in Silicon Valley have one of the co-founders who is a foreign national. And here is a pony case, having Sergey, originally from Russia, is a clear example of how foreign entrepreneurs have come here and be successful neck to neck together with other entrepreneurs from all over the world or the United States. Now, the seventh characteristic is a passion for success. And this brings again some new requirements in terms of you as a foreign entrepreneur, because your success depends on your mind, heart, and action. So here is not just being the brightest of all, but it also is the ability to execute your ideas, to execute your grand vision, your global grand vision, but also the ability to have a heart, because it's about people. And you can't do it alone. You need to connect with people, you need to interface with people, and always seeking a win-win situation. For that, here is a true meritocratic society. So to tell you the truth, nobody cares about the prestige or the wealth of your family in your home country, unless you're investing a significant amount of your own money into your venture. Your degrees are helpful. I mean, I will not tell you that they're not important, but at the same time, they're really not going to feed you well beyond your first meeting with whoever you're going to get, because it's going to depend effectively on you. Demonstrate your passion and your commitment for your venture. And the most important element is to walk the talk. It's not a matter of just having this wonderful vision and be able to articulate it, but you need to be consistent and be able to execute it. When we move into the eighth, is give back to the community. We often see all these grand entrepreneurs who are able to be extraordinarily successful, always in the activity of giving back. Because we often say that you're going to get from the valley, you will have to give back to the valley. as part of the community. So this will bring, again, key requirements on you. What the Valley recognizes is what we call T-shaped individuals. These T-shaped individuals, as the letter T, are individuals which are very broad in the number of disciplines, and yet they are very deep and highly technical and specialized in one of, or few of those disciplines. Your success is measured financially, but that's one of the metrics. Now, there are other metrics which are also important in the way of how you conduct to get there. And creating a track record in success or failure is very important, because people are going to be watching not only just what you accomplish, but how you accomplish those goals. And I think that that is also a key requirement and a key characteristic for those of you foreign entrepreneurs who come here. You have here a sample of the leaders, the industry leaders, that they have signed the Leading Pledge, by which they will be giving back a significant amount of their own personal wealth accumulated, created over the years, back to society in different ways. So the ninth characteristic is your pitch is your currency. So what the currency that is going to open doors, that is going to provide you with a platform in terms of talking to others, is your ability to pitch. Like in the early gold rush settlers, you are the best salesperson of you and your venture. And the mechanism is your pitch. So you have to perfect your pitch, which is the combination of the content, the organization, and your delivery. And you have to really master your pitch, which is the product of your full understanding of your venture, as well as your end industry, your competitors, your stakeholders. So you have to know very well the business, you have to develop the captures, as I have explained in one of my blog post entries in my blog, and also you have to master its delivery in all circumstances. It can be in a conference room, in a boardroom, in a coffee shop, in a bar. It can be of 30 seconds, or it could be 30 minutes, or it can be 2 minutes. It depends as well to a small audience, large audiences, and to different audiences. You may be talking to potential investors, technology partners, new hire, etc. Potential customers, distributors, etc. So you have to be constantly matching, your pitch to the needs, to the audience, to the environment, and to be successful. That is the currency. That is the impact that you're going to cause as you talk to them. As we move to the 10 characteristics, not much different from the early settlers and the gold rush entrepreneurs, is to have the eternal optimism. That if you haven't hit gold, the best is yet to come. And that embodies the characteristics of this Silicon Valley entrepreneur. You are anticipating your success is the phase that leads to achievement, and you are going to be participating in a very sophisticated ecosystem. And therefore, it depends on you and your ability to present yourself with optimism as you find adversity, you find dead ends, the ability to pivot, to change your strategy, but always hoping that the best is yet to come. And obviously, you have to learn from successful entrepreneurs, because they have faced adversity themselves. You have to understand industry leaders, because they have faced many dead ends, and yet they have been able to succeed. You have to develop your own success networks with peers and friends. And the other thing is, you have to accept help when you get help. And that comes in the form of mentors, advisors that you're going to find on your way, because they are an incredible asset. They have already traversed the labyrinth many times, and they have failed some, and they have succeeded other times, and we can all learn from them. So, as we move across these 10 characteristics, this is the DNA that makes, and the requirements on foreign entrepreneurs to be successful here as you come to Silicon Valley. This is a very exciting time. It's a unique opportunity for creation of applications as we move in this global market of 7 billion people today, but soon over the next 25 years to become 9 billion consumers. And as we tackle this in the same way that artists and painters and sculptors all went to Florence in the Italian Renaissance, today many of you are going to come here to participate. These are the characteristics of the requirements. And I invite you to read my blog, which is here, and also to visit Sausalito Ventures, which is the company that I lead, which is facilitating, creating this bridge between Silicon Valley and Latin entrepreneurs in emerging parts of the world. Thank you for your attention. It was a pleasure to spend this time for you, and looking forward to meet you again. Thank you.